if you've watched the news or you've been on the internet, you know that Japan has a declining birth rate. It's a serious topic and something that I want to talk about and just share my opinion on it, even though I'm just some random person. I want to go over what some of the common reasons are, what are some solutions that Japan has tried. I want to discuss if this is an actual Japanese only problem, and if it's not, what are other countries trying to do to prevent it or try to stop it. So I guess we'll just jump into what are some of the common reasons people say that Japan has a declining birth rate issue. A lot of it has to do with the work culture, which completely understand. Japan is known to have some of the worst work culture, long hours, not the best pay, especially with modern standards, not the best pay. Makes it hard to, one, afford a kid, and two, have time to have a kid. Another thing that I've heard is the dating scene is awful there. It's hard to meet someone. It's hard to have the time to meet someone and get a genuine connection with them. Most people just would rather spend their time doing other things than trying to jump into a relationship, which marriage comes, from what I understand, very quickly over there. That's pretty much like, hey, we're dating, straight to marriage. Like, the dating culture is a little bit different there, at least from here in America. The economy is bad. That's another one. The yen is not what it used to be, which has led to many problems. Part of that is the over-tourism problem. There are way too many people that go to Japan that they have better outcomes because they're from a different country than the people that actually live there. This has led to the rise of the Japan First movement. It's rough. When the economy sucks, it still costs money to have a kid. So when the economy's bad, it also hurts there. Now, moving on to what they're trying to do to solve it, I have heard that some of the things that they're trying to do is to dating service that is sponsored by the government. They're trying to do some policy changes, from what I understand, to create more opportunities for people to have that time to have that connection and form that connection with people. I don't know if any of these solutions are going to work. I know they're also doing different credits and tax credits and things like that, from what I understand. But from what I've seen, it's an issue that they know about, but I don't think that they have a solution for. And part of that is I don't know if there is a solution, because I don't think that this is just a Japan-only problem. If we look at pretty much every country in the world, almost every single one has a declining birth rate. I believe the United States has had a declining birth rate since 2007. The United States is just a bigger country than Japan, has a lot more people. So the effects are not felt as strongly, but they probably will come. A lot of European countries are struggling with their birth rate. China, who for the longest time, at least when I was born, had a one-child policy where they could only have one child, which led to its own issues, but they believed that they would have an overpopulation problem. And in the end, they ended up having the same problem that the whole rest of the world is having, where people are not having kids. And I get it. I understand it. I think that this is more than a Japan problem. I think this is pretty much a global problem. And I think for every country, some of the factors are a little different. Like for me personally, my generation doesn't want to have kids. I don't want to have kids. I know that. Me and my girlfriend have discussed that. We don't want to have kids. I feel like that is the same for a lot of people in my generation across the world and the younger generations across the world. And a lot of it does have to deal with the economy, and a lot of it does have to deal with just the state of everything, the state of the world. We feel depressed. We feel like there is no hope. The future looks so grim that how could we possibly want to bring a child into this world? And I get that some countries are trying to do things to alleviate some of those issues. I don't think that there is a solution. There's tax credits that some countries have given out. States like Japan, state-sponsored dating services or holding dating events. I saw something in China about one that failed maybe a few weeks ago at the time of recording this. It's a problem that the whole world is having, and not one factor is more important than the others. Like the economy, 100%. In America, you have gun violence and everything like that. You have school shootings, which is a crazy thing. It's also expensive. It's expensive for childcare. It's expensive for diapers. It's expensive for everything. So I don't think that this is a Japan-only problem. I think that they are just ahead of the curve on what's to come. I'm not meaning this to sound sad or make it feel hopeless, because I don't think that this will be this way forever. I really do hope that there will be some significant changes in the world that will improve everything. I think that we are going to have to get through some rough times before we get there. It's completely understandable. There's a lot of anger and division on pretty much every political spectrum across the world. And even in China, they still have that issue. They still have the issue of the declining birth rate. A lot of that is disproportionate amount of females to male. In the future, there will probably not be enough people to handle the amount of elderly people that there are going to be in the world. That's an unfortunate truth. We saw an explosion of the population maybe 75, 50 years ago, long time ago, way before I was born. And now we are seeing the exact opposite. And I think that eventually it'll tick back up and the world will change, hopefully for the better. So what are some ways that we can fight this now, or ways that we can get through the situation right now to maybe improve it sooner? I think part of it has to do with making it more affordable to have kids, but that can't be the only solution. A 4-day work week would probably help, would allow for extra time for people to have time to have those meaningful relationships and give couples time to spend together to kind of form that bond to where they feel comfortable enough to have a kid and make that decision to have a kid. I think for some countries, immigration could be the right solution. Not really a right solution, but a solution that also hurts the people that are already there. Over-immigration is a big deal, and it's something that has to be managed, because I know a lot of countries are going through an over-immigration issue right now. I'm not going to say crisis, but an issue which leads to more division. We're also in a period of a lot of wars right now, which is a little scary. We've been at conflict for a long time, though. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts. This video really doesn't have like a goal point or anything like that. I just wanted to share my opinions as someone who doesn't want to have kids, and as someone who sees the issue with that going forward, because it is something that will have ramifications down the road. Whenever I am older, I will not have kids. It will be on me to take care of me. And we as people, we live longer than we used to. And by that time, we might live even longer. Who knows? 29, about to be 30. So I don't know. It's crazy to sit here and think about that, because I know in my brain, it feels like so far removed from right now that I can't even think about like how that will affect us going down the road. I think it'll overcrowd retirement homes. I think it'll put a lot of pressure on the youth, which will in turn make them less likely to have children for a little bit. It's a rough situation. These are just my thoughts, and I want to have a discussion down in the comments about this. Thank you for watching. I will hopefully see y'all on the next one. Definitely a little bit of a more lighthearted one on the next one. Thank you, and I will see y'all then. Bye, everyone.